You're watching Stanton Today. Here are tonight's headlines. Interview with UEE Navy Commander regarding Bering corporate decision declassified after Addison administration takes office. XenoThreat insurgency leader still present in Stanton system, says Advocacy Investigator. Stella Fortuna celebrations make us wonder if maybe 20th century Earthlings were wise to be afraid of Martians. Good evening, I'm Oliver Zark. A classified Navy commander interview conducted by our very own Marcus Hurst back in October was recently declassified. The interview revolved around Bering AT's decision to make military firepower available to the public. Why it was classified to begin with or what led to its release is still unclear, but after reaching out to several military personnel, we've learned that it's not far-fetched to assume that the recent power shift in New York is what is causing the recent transparency regarding military affairs. Let's look at the interview.
I'm standing here with Captain Tycho of the UEE Pathfinders, who has agreed to share his thoughts on the increasing availability of military-purpose weapons and equipment, Bering's BR-2 ballistic shotgun being the latest military firearm made available to the public. Captain, what is your take on Bering's decision to make this weapon available?
The Stanton system is vast, and although a network of communication relays ensures the UEE can respond to threats quickly, sometimes the short time it takes for a response to arrive can be the difference between life and death. I have no doubt in my mind, empowering the people of the system with the chance to fight back against threats is a good deterrent. You will just have to work hard to make sure these new armaments remain out of the wrong hands. If you were to ask me about the new production line of the public accessible grenade launchers, however, that is a disaster waiting to happen.
Interesting. What is your opinion on the grenade launcher?
Most threat encounters for your average spacer tends to be inside a vessel of some description. If a civilian invests in a weapon system capable of HE rapid fire and panics in control of that weapon, they're more likely to hurt their crew, passengers, or even themselves. Not to mention the potential damage it could cause to the ship itself. I would like to take the opportunity to advise owners of the GP-33 grenade launcher to only consider using this weapon system in open spacing, and especially not inside their own crafts to repel boarders. If someone does purchase it, take the time to learn its impact properly, and spend time at your local ranges. Also, ensure your weapons are racked and unloaded in transit. Search and rescue is going to be damn busy when this thing releases. Not to mention the abuse capable if it falls into the wrong hands.
Thank you, Captain. And with that, we return to Lorville. For Stanton Today, I'm Marcus Hurst.
It would seem Bering's decision does not ring well with some parts of the UEE military. Moving on. In the aftermath of losing stability, friends and family to XenoThreat back in February, Advocacy Investigator May Cole is looking into reports of an escaped XenoThreat leader, supposedly still in hiding in Stanton. Deputy Cole has been chasing this man for weeks and is now looking to use the public's eyes to try and pinpoint his location. Aaron Harper with the story.
The Advocacy typically keeps its business away from the public eye, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Following the devastating XenoThreat attacks on Stanton, Advocacy Investigator May Cole has been scouring the system for an escaped XenoThreat leader. They are suspected to have slipped past the conflict zone and are now potentially recruiting for an equally, if not more devastating follow-up strike than the one launched at INS Jericho. Deputy Cole hopes that witnesses will come forward with additional information now that the case has been made public. A few days after assisting in the destruction of an Idris suspected to have been carrying the XenoThreat leader, CDF bomber pilot Lena Miller has made the following written statement. I was flying the Tally right at the bastard's ventral side. I fired the torpedoes and pitch up to avoid crashing. See a Cuddy appear on my sensors flying out of the Idris. It jumped to quantum before I could turn and lock it, headed towards ArcCorp by the looks of it. On February 20th, Alexandra Tierce, a pilot leaving the ArcCorp Moon Walla, picked up the suspect outside of Samson & Son Salvage Center, where he asked her for a ride to Beijini Point. After aiding the suspect, the pilot was questioned by Deputy Cole, who conducted the following interview.
This is Deputy May Cole of the Advocacy, interviewing Alexandra Tierce. Did something unexpected happen as you're about to leave Walla on February 20th? Yes? So, can you tell me what it was? I was on Walla preparing to tow a disabled vessel when a man came stumbling out of the wilderness. He was in a bad way, and since I was on scene with a rescue vehicle, I calmed him to offer help. What about him made him look like he could need your help? For starters, his flight suit was really banged up, and when he replied to my comm, he sounded like he was on death's door. He begged for a flight back to Bikini Point. And so what did you tell him? Of course I took him on board. I offered him treatment with the auto dock and a bottle of water, but he refused both. Just sat on the bed in the cargo bay while I prepared to lift. We have on record you called port security on approach to Bikini. Why is that? While he was sitting in the cargo hold, I kept an eye on him through my surveillance systems, and when I proudly explained my role in repelling XenoThreat attacks, I saw him lose any ease he had, like he suddenly saw he was in a cage or a trap. Still, when I called port security, it was just to be on the safe side, since anyone sympathizing with XenoThreat might do with a bit of extra monitoring. Do you think you could describe him? Sure, he didn't take off what was left of his flight suit or armor for any of this, but from what I saw, he had a very full beard.
This is what the suspect might look like now based on Advocacy Forensics conclusions and Miss Tierce's description. As stated before, please contact our tips channels if you have any information about this individual. For Stanton Today, this is Aaron Harper.
If any of this has made you think that you are holding relevant information, please get in touch with our public tip line. We thank the Advocacy and the CDF for keeping Stanton safe in these trying times. Now, let's talk about Mars, where the aftermath from Stella Fortuna celebrations are reaching an all-time worst for the planet. Officials in Port Renatus have made public statements threatening the people of Mars with curfew on weekends and a planet-wide intoxicant prohibition. These measures might seem harsh if actualized by Martian authorities, but from the Spectrum press conference held in Port Renatus, we've learned that 186 people lost their lives in the celebrations. Another 64 Martians were killed in workplace accidents on March 16th, the day after the celebrations, all of which could be connected to irresponsible intoxication. Another 2,600 people were injured, of which 580 seriously so. Beyond the loss of lives, police are overwhelmed from a mountain of investigations regarding homicide, assault, theft, trafficking, vandalism, sedition, rioting, and arson, to name a few. Factories have been vandalized to a point where many of them will be closed for weeks, destabilizing the industrial-based economy of Mars. Apparently, they party hard, but let's hope they recover harder. This is all we had for today's report. I'm Oliver Zark, and you are wiser than yesterday. Good night. Hi, I'm Oliver Zark, founder of Zark Media. I hope you enjoyed this news report, and if you did, and you want to help us provide even better ones in the future, please consider donating your UEC to us. And maybe we could even put some snacks here on the table for our reporters. It's as easy as pulling up your MO Trader app and typing in any amount you're comfortable parting with. Send it to @OliverZ. Now enjoy yourselves out there and see you around.